G5 jet. I'm on my way to a brand new kit.
Welcome back. Happy Friday. This is eSIM Studios YouTube channel and TikTok. We are live on this Friday afternoon. Hope everybody's having a wonderful day. Sorry about the late delay. I woke up late as usual. Been really congested today. Got a little head cold, so had to deal with that and had to deal with some my website stuff. So apologize for the late delay, but we are back. We are live on this Friday afternoon. Again, thank you for joining me. I hope everybody's had a fantastic day, fantastic week. We have some new Pixel news, information that might be handy when it comes to potentially making a decision whether or not you want to purchase the device. Look, they're not cheap. We all know that. We've discussed this for the last week, or I guess this week. So, try to provide as much information as possible to you, the viewer, so you can make the very best decision when it comes to purchasing your next device. I know a lot of people don't have tons of phones here like myself. I typically try to buy the flagship from each and every manufacturer whenever it comes out, the new model. Obviously, that's not what the average person does. So the average person, needs to make sure they're making the right decision. Last thing you want to do is get stuck with a bad phone. I've been there, I've done that. It's certainly not fun. It sucks. But and look, different strokes for different folks, right? Some again, I think we've discussed this numerous times, but it plays a factor. If you're a Pixel lover, I think you're gonna like it. If you're a Samsung user that maybe you want to try Pixel for the first time, may not be the best experience. Might be. Everybody's different, but just trying to provide as much information as possible before you purchase the device. That's the whole point of this. How much longer do we have for pre-order? I think it's the 20th. I don't even know what day it is. It's the 14th. Yeah, I knew that. So you got about 6 more days to pre-order. So we will look at maybe the best place to purchase the device. Certainly, dare I say, any phone is worth $1,500. But typically, pre-order time is the best time to purchase because you can get the very best deals on pre-order time, regardless if it's for Samsung, Google, Apple. But they don't really provide a bunch of pre-order discounts, do they? I know these new Pixels are discounted heavily, as they should be. I know. Again, Samsung, that's when I always get my devices. So even OnePlus, they used to do that. But let me tell you what we got going on for today's show. So we have Pixel news and or information we're going to discuss. I have enormous Samsung news. And I have enormous Snapdragon, Qualcomm news you're not going to want to miss. We're going to do a giveaway. So stay tuned for that, another giveaway. And we'll see if I have time. If any one of y'all want to come up and discuss any of this, we might potentially do that. I might push that back to tomorrow. We'll see how the show goes. But let's see here. So happy Friday to you. Thank you very much. Appreciate you joining us today. Looking forward to this, as the SoC is supposed to be more efficient. I don't game, so I don't really care much about the GPU. And hey, that's sort of what I've been preaching over the last couple of years. Because it's what's the definition? What's that saying? What's the definition of insanity? Is doing the same thing over and over and over, but expecting a different outcome, a different result. Well, this Pixel CPU stuff has us all insane, or at least it has me insane. I know it's got me insane because each and every year I'm like, oh boy, this is the year Pixel takes the next step and we can have a device that, you know, nice and strong, that we can boom, boom, up against Samsung, boom, boom, up against Apple. Oh boy, here we come. And then each and every year it's like, really? Maybe I'm the one going crazy. But if you don't game, if you don't edit videos, who the freak cares? That's what I've been saying. Now, there's that point, right? And it's very true. It's very true. I was just using my daughter's Pixel. Well, she was sleeping earlier. I was like, you know, her Pixel was sitting out there, so I got on it, boom, 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 doing all these operations. It is buttery smooth. It is fast. It is snappy. Pixel 10 Pro XL. So, yeah, if you don't game, if you don't edit 4K videos, who the freak cares? It's going to be nice and snappy and fast, right? So you have that going for you. But there's that other side of it, well, in where you can say, yeah, but a comparable device, a competitor's phone at the same price, because remember, Pixel gone up. The price for a Pixel 11 Pro XL 512 gig, $1,500. It's same price as an S26 Ultra. And then you start comparing spec sheets, right? And then you're like, well, wait a second. Why does the Samsung outperform, run laps around the Pixel when it comes to performance? And then you see what I'm saying? There's that side of it where it's like, am I getting enough? Am I really getting what I'm paying for here? Because you could go with the Samsung. So there's two different ways to look at it. I kind of fall in the middle where, and I don't want to be somebody that rides the fence, but my whole point is, if you like Pixel, you should like this upcoming phone. That's all I'm saying. And I would think about trying to get it at a discount because it's certainly not worth $1,500. And let's be honest, is the Samsung really too? I mean, I guess that's the going rate for a flagship smartphone, but look, if you can get a Pixel 11 series for $500, for $600 after trade-in, after discount, I think that's pretty freaking fair, right? I think that's a good deal. Just gonna be honest with you. I googled mid-range phones and the Pixel 11 was first to pop up. No way. Are you serious? Well, damn. Google even lists it as a mid-range phone. So I'm getting $544 after taxes from $150 coupon plus $250 Pixel 6 trade-in. See, that's a example of what I would consider a good deal, a good buy. That's a good phone for $544. You're not going to beat that, right? Now, of course, you can go get a used S25 Ultra. You see what I'm saying? Like, what else you could buy with $544, but you're going to have to go to like Facebook Marketplace. You're going to have to go to Swappa. You're going to have to go to OfferUp, Mercari. I don't know if you're going to find, dare I say, a better phone than a Pixel 11 or whatever they got. He didn't say a Pro XL, even I would say the base model. And that's not even on a bad phone, but you get the point, right? Like, you get a brand new phone, all brand new hardware for $544. That's a pretty good deal. So I'm certainly not against that. I'm just against buying it at $1,500, which I think most people probably agree with me on that. You know what I'm saying? Pixel 11. There you go. Pixel 11. I was even considering the Pixel 11 because maybe I'll have to upload an independent video in regards to that, because I was thinking about this just the other day. Maybe the Pixel 11 is the best buy, the best one out of them for value for your money. The three sensors that they have on the back of the Pixel 11, two of those three are the same exact sensors that you can find on the Pro models. And so what's the difference? Well, the difference on the Pro and the regular, two out of the three, you still get three sensors, but like I said, two of them are from the Pro model. The Pixel 11 is a full HD plus display. So you don't get the traditional 2K, but it's a badass display. And can you really tell the difference? Really? sometimes I'll put mine on my S26 Ultra. I'll put mine on Full HD Plus and then see if I can tell for a day or two, see if I can tell the difference. I maybe I'm blind. I can't tell the difference. Sometimes I'll put it on there just to get better battery life. Not a big deal, in my opinion. What else is it missing? It only has 12 gigs of RAM, 12 gigs of RAM, 256 gigs of storage, 12 gigs of RAM, 512 gigs of storage. So you do miss out on the 16 gigs. But remember, Google is optimizing the kernels, optimizing Android moving forward. I think with this August update to have these phones less RAM dependent, meaning it should run smoother on less RAM. And I think they did that specifically, the Android developers, because they knew they were going to release more phones with 12 gigs of RAM instead of 16, or cell, should I say. So they want it to run smooth. So that shouldn't be a problem. And that's going to go for all Android phones, not just the Pixel phones. That tweaked ROM, the tweaked kernel, the tweaked code inside of Android, they're giving that to Samsung to push to their phones. They're giving that to Oppo to push to their phones. So all phones should run better with less RAM. And then it's a long time coming. Remember, Google developers are also optimizing the ROM, the software on these Pixel devices to be faster and load apps quicker. So it looks like they're trying to mitigate some of the, I hate to say downgrades. I mean, RAM-wise, yeah, I guess it would. But they're optimizing it to make sure you're not going to have any performance issues. I'm all for, if you want one, get one. Just make sure you get one at a good price, right? There's no way I would buy one at $1,500. I ordered the Pixel 11 Pro XL for $672 after my trade-in, $150 discount. That's about right. Now remember, that's a big phone. That's the best of the best. That's their flagship phone, what they have to offer, the Pro XL. I think that's about right for a big flagship phone like that. I still love to catch up with the tech news, even though I'm currently rocking my $899 black OnePlus. That's still the very best phone in the world. So you're sitting, you have the best Android phone. The best phone in the world right now. So, hey, you're sitting on top of the kingdom right now when it comes to phones. And that black is nice. That's what kind of, doesn't that black Pixel, doesn't that remind you of the OnePlus 15? I promise you, whoever picked these colors, somebody in Team Pixel, they absolutely loved that OnePlus 15. They were a OnePlus 15 user because they copied that same colorway, that black colorway on the OnePlus 15. It's like I'm talking about the black on the Pro and the Pro XL. The black on the 11 is kind of a more glossy black, but the black on the Pro and the Pro XL is blacked out. It's a matte black. It is black as it gets, and it looks awesome. It looks badass. So I know somebody in Team Pixel was a OnePlus 15 user because and look, it's okay to copy. If it looks badass, be my guest. And that's exactly what they did. The scores are, oh yes, duh, I gotta get to the, I'm getting carried away here talking phones, we'll get to that. We'll get to the new benchmark scores. The scores look better for sure, but I'm hoping the GPU scores have improved too. That's the main thing. Everybody's going to look at these CPU benchmark scores, but more specifically, we want to know, what does the GPU do, right? We kind of know what's the deal with the CPU. The big question is with the GPU. That's what we want to know. And I don't really think you're going to get a real good look, because remember, these are just, they're screenshots. But until I get one in-house in studio and I physically record my testings, my findings, my results, that's what I'm gonna roll with. So take these with a grain of salt, but that's what people are putting out here. Could it be faked? Could it be spoofed? Sure, right? But until we get ours next week, I'm gonna wait and see. We'll take this as that's interesting. But until I get them in here in studio and do my own testing, that's what I'm going to put on record next week. But yeah, I want to see what the GPU looks like big time. Pixel 12, trust and believe. If the GPU is at least comparable to Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 or even better, the 8 Gen 3, that would be great, especially if they have sustained performance. Yeah, I mean, it's a 5-year-old GPU, we know that, but apparently they've gutted the insides and they remodeled it. You know how I compared a CPU to a house yesterday? Now the node, the nanometer, is basically like the foundation. The house is the CPU. Well, what if you take a GPU, right? You have everything, 5-year-old GPU, 5-year-old house, and you gut the inside, you remodel this, remodel that. That's essentially what they did to the GPU. So how much customization can you do to a 5-year-old GPU? Maybe more. You know, maybe it's like cars where the newer the car you get, the less you can work on it because everything's so advanced. Maybe they could customize it more. Look, I don't know. I don't know what's going on behind the scenes. All we can do is guess. But yeah, that's a big question. The GPU is probably the biggest flaw in the phone for the insane price. Even when they offered the Mali GPU, they chose the one without ray tracing. They always do this, and this is even worse. I wish they would go back to Mali. I wish they would go back to the ARM Mali. It was, what was it, the T720 or something like that? I do too. Hopefully they will in the future. I mean, I don't know. Do you recommend getting a OnePlus 15 or a Samsung? That depends. That's a hard call. Like, I recommend getting both. But, you know, realistically, I know it may not be possible. It depends. What are you talking about? This S26 Ultra? S25 Ultra? It depends because the operating systems are similar but different. If you're an iPhone user or have used an iPhone in the past, I would say I would probably recommend going with a OnePlus 15. It's weird because the OnePlus 15 operating system takes a lot of features from iOS. Nobody ever talks about that. Maybe I need to do a video about that. But the OnePlus 15, pretty freaking similar to iOS. The pull down icons, the dynamic island up there, they do all that on the OnePlus 15. So if you kind of want like a iPhone-esque type of look and feel, I go with the OnePlus 15. If you're a Samsung user or you've used Samsung in the past, trust me, you're going to love the S26 Ultra. Kind of depends on you. The performance is essentially the same. They're both beasts. They can chew through anything. That CPU is and GPU is untouchable. Like, it'll blow through anything you throw at it. Now, one thing I do recommend, obviously if you get a S26 Ultra, I was going to say get the 16 gigabyte model of RAM, but you have to get the 1 terabyte model of storage for Samsung, which isn't really I mean, that's mad expensive, so I wouldn't recommend that. But you can always do RAM expansion, right? Because the S26 Ultra only comes with 12 gigs of RAM. However, I would recommend getting the 16 gigs in the OnePlus 15 because you can jump up to 16 gigs by only getting the 512 gig model. So I would recommend doing that. Especially if you don't clear out apps a lot, especially if you game, if you edit videos, you need that extra 4 gigs. I know you can add RAM expansion in the OnePlus as well, but there's nothing like the real thing. So it kind of depends on you. Like, either one, you can't lose with either one. It just depends on like how, like, the look and the feel. Camera wise, the OnePlus 15 got a really bad rap right off of the bat as far as cameras. I think something fishy was behind that. Makes me wonder. Literally everybody that reviewed the OnePlus 15 said the cameras were trash. Trust me, I watched every one of them. And when I got the phone, I expected the cameras to suck. And I got it, and I was like, what the hell is everybody talking about? These are actually really good. Now, if you record a lot, if you vlog a lot, you're probably going to want the Samsung because the Samsung does offer portrait video mode. OnePlus doesn't offer that, which sucks. I don't know if ColorOS does. Hopefully they do, and when they convert it to ColorOS, they'll offer that as video. I love portrait video. It's like cinematic mode or video for iPhones, or what does Google call it? I don't know. They all have special names for it, but OnePlus currently doesn't offer that at the moment. But hopefully they will with this ColorOS update. But it's up to you, again, but you can't go wrong with either one. $550 trade-in for Pixel 9 XL, Pixel 9 Pro XL, and $200, whoa, store credit makes out to $669 for Pixel 11 Pro 512, 16 gigs of RAM. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. I mean, you're gonna be paying right around there, 5, 6, 700 bucks. I would say with trade-in, with discounts, like if you're getting a Pixel 11 Pro XL. So what's the most I would pay for that after discounts and trade-ins? That's a good question. Probably, you're essentially saying, what's that phone worth? And again, I've always said it's not worth 1,500 bucks. Not many phones are. Probably 800, but even that's pushing it. I would say 700 is probably the max, right? I mean, because that's still getting up there. Yeah, that's about right. And you got the upgraded 512 model with 16 gigs. Now remember, I think getting 16 gigs is crucial because apparently AI, on-device AI uses like 6 gigs of RAM. So you're going to need that extra 10 for all your other apps. I think that's a good deal. I do. Do you think Pixel 11 phones will be discounted during Black Friday sales? Yes, they always have. If you're a Pixel fan, if you're a Pixel user, subscribe to the channel, because I started this channel out as a Team Pixel, not necessarily a Pixel only YouTube channel, but I've had every Pixel ever made, so I know them like the back of my hand. And we are getting one in. I know I've kind of been shitting on them lately, but I want to see what this is all about. I want to do my own testing. So we're going to get one. Subscribe to the channel, because we're going to have a lot of Pixel content moving forward. We have a lot of Samsung content moving forward. All sorts of good stuff. Oh, did I answer your question? Yeah. Black Friday, you're going to see a ton of sales. They're going to continually do the sales that they normally do for Black Friday, for Christmas. What other times do they do? Black Friday, Christmas. I can't remember. They should. Look, if they want to sell phones, they need to put this thing up for sale. Because I think Google knows this phone is not even worth 1,500 bucks. Now, I always say 1,500 because the Pixel 11 Pro XL is 1,500. But I know you can get the Pixel 11 for $899 or Pixel 11 Pro for $1,299. But I'm comparing the big stuff here. They're going to have to discount it. That's just a fact. If they want to move units, if they want to sell phones, nobody's buying this thing at 1,500 bucks, and I think they know that. I think they know that. Would do it because I want to try Pixel, but can't do the eSIM. Like the flexibility of being able to swap phones whenever I want. Me too. I know I'm eSIM Studios over here, but I favor physical SIM card. I'm just going to be honest with you. Now, here's a little thing you could look out for, but it sucks because you can't get it from the Play Store and get discounts. The Pixel that's sold in the United States is the only eSIM model, meaning if you go to Canada and you buy a Pixel 11 Pro XL in Canada, it has a SIM card tray. If you buy a Pixel 11 Pro in Japan, it has a SIM card tray. Why it's eSIM only here, I wish everybody would stop copying Apple. It drives me insane. Apple is ridiculous. I hate the company. I hate everything that they're about. And I wish they would stop copying Apple. It's ridiculous. It's embarrassing. It's pathetic. Who knows if that's what they really did, but I like to think they did. Now, if you go you can't order a Pixel 11 Pro XL Canada model from their website, right? They're not going to allow that unless you know somebody in Canada or any one of these other countries to buy it for you and whatever. You can do that, or you can go to eBay in a couple weeks. I'm sure they'll be all over eBay, but it sucks because you can't do a trade-in with a device. You can't add your discount code that they emailed you. You put on a credit card and finance it that way, but there's no in-store financing. So it's like, you kind of have to be clever about how you obtain one of these Pixels. If you want a SIM card tray, they're out there, but you're gonna have to get clever trying to find one. You know what I'm saying? What's going on, man? Appreciate you joining us today. We are gonna do a giveaway, so hang on. I'm gonna. How many more comments we got? Oh Lord, have mercy. All right, let's see here. We're gonna get to the news here. Moving from Honor Magic 8 Pro 12 to the Pixel 11 Pro XL. Honor Magic 8 Pro. I don't know. Honor Magic 8 Pro. Oh, wow. I've never even seen that device before. Or maybe I have, but here in the US, our phone selection is so shitty. Snapdragon 80 Elite Gen 5. Holy crap. That's a badass phone. Interesting. Well, okay. Hope you like it. I found the retail price of the new Pixels easily is really high for what you got. But I can get a Pixel 11 Pro for 314, what is that, euros? Trade in my Pixel 9 Pro for $735, $150 discount on the Google Store, so it's fine for that price. As long as you're okay. And again, usually discounts, trade-ins will, usually get the customer over that hump to make the purchase. But I don't think anybody's buying these at full price. The Tensor would be perfect for A-series phones, but they need a more powerful version for the Pro models. I agree, and in fact, I think that's what they should do. Do you think Google thinks that internally, or do you think they just don't freaking care? Because I'm leaning on the side that they just don't care, right? But part of me thinks, because they're getting roasted online by me, but on a lot of other people as well, for their performance of these pro CPUs, they're getting roasted. Do you think any of them internally inside Google are embarrassed, or do you think there has even been a discussion about moving Tensor to A series and partnering up with MediaTek for their Pro series chips? I don't know. I think they don't care, but I would like to think they're concerned, but they're probably not. And I get myself excited, and then I'm like, they don't care. That's a good point. They always tend to choose lesser Mali rather than, the Immortals. But ironically, with the Pixel 6, they all went all out with the Mali GPU, if anyone remembers that. I vaguely remember, yes. GPU was just on an inefficient Samsung node and heated up way too much. And if I'm not mistaken, I think it had like 20. Wow. 20 cores. Jeez. Yeah, they should have. I know. What's going on, Daniel? Tensors for AI capabilities. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And I think if you're buying a Pixel and you're a big gamer, I think that's a mistake right there. And that's probably why they don't care, is because they know if you're a gamer, you're going to be buying a OnePlus, you're going to be buying a Red Magic, you're going to be buying an Oppo, you know what I'm saying? Or hell, even a Samsung. And I think their customer base, their average consumer could care less. I think that's what it comes down to. And so they're not worried about that. So we got, I think part of this is cut off. Is it? No, you got your Pixel 11 up top on the first two, and then you got your Pixel 10 on the bottom two. So, excuse me. So part of these are pre-released numbers. So just take these with a grain of salt, right? And I'm gonna store them in the back of my brain and refer to them when I need to. I'll pull that file out and think about it, and then I'll put it back. But I'm not going to run with these numbers until I get mine in studio and start testing. People can say, trust me, I've seen a lot more crazy shit online. I'm not saying these are fake. I'm not saying they're real. I'm just saying somebody presented these that apparently has the device on Reddit. So Pixel 11, Pixel 11 Pro, Pixel 11 Pro XL, Pixel 11 Pro Fold. You can see on Geekbench 6. Let me pull up my Geekbench scores on my Samsung, and we can compare with the latest. Oh, we also have upcoming. I'm going to roll from this into our next store. You're not going to want to miss this. Trust me, it's insane. So let's go to history. Geekbench. I'm on Geekbench 6. Okay. So for Samsung, let me pull up my scores here. I got single core on my S26 Ultra, single core on Geekbench 6, 3338. 3338. Does any of those come close to 33? It's better than the last scores we saw. Now my multi-core score is 11,116. 11,116. Okay, those are respectable. I mean, it's better than the last one we saw. Now remember, the last one we saw, the benchmark, the test was run on the Prime core. Remember, this has a 7-core CPU. It has one Prime core that does all the heavy lifting, and it has like, some more efficiency cores. Well, the Prime core is rated at, I think a max boost of like 4.1 gigahertz. The last benchmark that we got word of that I showed yesterday's example, I believe that was run at 3.8 or 3.65 gigahertz. So it wasn't like maxed out like redlining. So I guess theoretically that could be the reason why they were so low. This one is apparently run at 4.1 gigahertz, the Prime core's maximum spin up, right? So maybe that's, but it seems like that was a big difference between last time and this time. And remember, Geekbench 7, you're going to have lower scores than Geekbench 6. That's why they look a little bit lower. So let's see here. Let's compare last year's Geekbench 6 to the Pixel 10. Let's just pick Pixel 10 Pro. $22.95 compared to this year's 11 Pro. $26.72. Pixel 10 Pro Geekbench 6 multi-core score 6,027. And let's go to Pixel 11 Pro Geekbench 6 multi-core score 7449. Better. So if that gives anybody hope, hopefully it does. But again, take it with a grain of salt. And when we get ours in, that's what I'll put down on record. But it is what it is. You canceled your pre-order. Here's the thing. And here's what a lot of people don't tell you, is that I'm trying to be as honest as possible, and if I'm going to be honest with you, I can't tell you which one is better for you. You know why? Because you're different than I am. You use your phone differently than I do. If somebody gets on here, or you ask somebody else on YouTube, I canceled my Pixel 11 Pro pre-order and got the S26 Ultra. What do you think? They'll be like, I think that was a good idea. Screw the Pixel. They're so weak. They suck. They're not being honest with you. They're lying to you, and they're lying to themselves. Because who's to say you won't like the Pixel 11 Pro more than the S26 Ultra? It's purely user. It's purely, I don't even know what the right word is, but you catch the drift. Some people, my wife loves Pixel. She has a hard time going to Samsung. She just likes the Pixel. My brother-in-law, same thing. He loves Pixel. Now, it's just something about it, right? Everybody's different. If you don't play games, and look, the Pixel 11 Pro, I keep on repeating myself, will play games, but will it play games with a faster refresh rate than the Pixel? Well, I'm talking about Samsung. The Samsung will play higher refresh rate games. You catch your drift. If you're a gamer, choose the Samsung. If you're a content creator, choose the Samsung. But if you don't, then you should be fine with Pixel. You see what I'm saying? So it really depends on how you use your phone. So and look, I welcome questions, because we can discuss these things, right? That's what it's all about. It kind of depends on how you use your phone. To be honest with you, if you take a ton of pictures, choose the Pixel. It is what it is, but only you can answer that honestly. I can just give you pros and cons, But for somebody, a YouTuber, to say, screw the Pixel, just buy the Samsung, they're not really doing you much of a service. They're telling, you know, but so ask away. That's what I'm here for. We can weigh the pros and cons of stuff, right? Let's see. Speaking of CPU, hold your horses. Did you say you got an S26 Ultra? Because you might want to hold on a few more months. Now, why do I say that? Well, did you see the results from the upcoming Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 6 Pro? Did you see those benchmarks? Holy shit. Insane numbers. Wait till you see this. And again, this is what we've been griping about Pixel, right? Because the Pixel is just coming out, and guess what? The new Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 6 Pro, Qualcomm is about to launch here in a month or two. These new CPUs, they're mind-blowing. Wait till you see this. And this will be on the S27 Pro and S27 Ultra. So there's an article. Let me get a good, yeah, damn it. All right, that'll do. So there's a good article here. This is, let me move my stuff around because I'm having a hard time seeing. I'm getting old, I'm getting blind. So, check this out. Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 6 Pro benchmark results show Antutu scores 20% performance improvement over the fastest Android smartphone currently in existence. And that's not only the best part. The best part is you're going to see an even bigger increase, bigger performance jump in the GPU. This year is supposed, 20% is pretty good. Yeah, but the GPU is supposed to be 33% better. Like, I'm at a point where I'm like, Jesus, how much better can these get? I mean, my jaw hit the floor when I saw this article this morning. I was like, holy shit, that's insane. This is about to be launched. So, yeah. So this article says Antutu scores have been announced or put public, right? Because when they test these out, you got to run them on some of these apps. Well, these apps make their results public, so that's how they get a hold of these scores. These aren't just rumors. These are actually on record for some of these applications, right? So these new Antutu results show Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 6 Pro breaking the 5 million point barrier. I know some watching out there, you might not be as nerdy as me. 5 million. Those are insane scores. Wow. It seems like just not too long ago, passing the 1 million point was a big deal. And I think the latest ones do, what, 2, maybe 3? So it just blows the scores out of the water. This is a big deal. The initial score was uploaded by Weibo, Tipster, Digital Chat Station, who else? Showing that the Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 6 Pro overall obtained 4,835,412 points, making it 20% higher than the fastest Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 5 powered flagship, which is Red Magic 11 Pro, which is currently the top of Antutu's leaderboard with 4,005,248 points. So, did it break the 5 million? Hang on. It said earlier, it gave us the exact score that was over 5 million earlier. Did they adjust it? When comparing both results, Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 6 Pro has successfully gained on both the CPU and GPU side. Adreno 850 graphics processor offered a bigger performance uplift, suggesting that previous Rumors talking about a major upgrade of the standard Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 6 weren't throwing around exaggerated claims. Because remember, they're putting out a 8 Elite Gen 6 Pro. That's going to be the top of the top shelf. And then they're putting out a Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 6 to offer flagship level performance, but, you know, a little cheaper than the Pro variant. Sort of like how they do now with the Elite and non-Elite Snapdragon Gen 5. Similar, except this is going to be a whole nother level, but they will offer both to try to help companies like Motorola out that want to use a flagship CPU, but they don't want to have to pay top shelf, top dollar for the ultimate CPU, like what they have in their signature. Let's see. Improved upscaling, frame generation, both of which will be advantageous when running more taxing games on the chipset coming to the CPU. Both upcoming 2nm chipsets, real 2nm Google, will feature a new 2+3+3 cluster, which could have been out of the primary contributors to the improved Antutu results. That's insane, man. Clock speeds, 5 gigahertz. Man, wow. But that's when you see stuff like this, that's kind of how it gets some people upset about this Pixel that's launching, because you can literally have like desktop performance mobile devices here with this new Snapdragon CPU. It's going to be going head to head with the Pixel Tensor G6 for 10 months for a large majority of this upcoming fiscal year. So and that's why everybody's like, well, why would I get a Pixel at $1,500 when I can get the S27 Ultra here in a few months with this CPU in it? Kind of a no-brainer, right? That's why I'm so hell-bent on, if you are going to get a Pixel at a major discount, because then it's like, I only paid $506 for my Pixel 11 Pro, you know? So you don't feel as bad, because I can see somebody saying, well, damn, I paid $1,500 for this Pixel when I could have gotten that. You know what I'm saying? Makes it a little justifiable, right? Makes it more justifiable. Now, let's see here. What else we got? What do y'all think? Oh, we have Samsung's been testing One UI 9.5. We have an early look at One UI 9.5 that will be coming preloaded on the upcoming S27 series. Gonna take a look at that. Yeah, if the NPU is used with QNN API, it's quite speedy, but QNN is not widely used. This is where Tensor TPU has the lead. That's their shining star. That's their real performer, is that TPU, that tensor processing unit. That and the NPU, like, they probably integrate both of them, but it's an AI heavy device, right? So it's going to have a really good TPU. It's probably where they haven't beat. I know Qualcomm has invested a lot of R&D into their TPU and the new Snapdragon chips. But as far as, and I don't even know, maybe aren't there apps that test that specifically? I could have sworn I came across one the other day, and I should have downloaded it or noted it. Obviously didn't. I might look into that here this weekend. Because that, now as we move forward into this whole AI, this stupid AI thing, maybe that's a test I should start running on these devices, right? I don't know how many people care about that stuff, but it obviously gets more important as you move forward into the future. I need a phone that has excellent live call translation like the Pixel, but I hate pixels. Does any other brand do this? Do a good job of this? Yeah, the Samsung S26 Ultra does that. Live translation. Yeah, that was a big feature that they had, that they promoted when they launched the S26 Ultra. So it is on the S26 Ultra for sure. I just turned it off because I never need it, but it's there for sure. If you need that and you don't want to use Pixel, grab a Samsung S26 Ultra. I think all, correct me if I'm wrong in the chat, but I think all S26 have live translation, correct? I believe so, but I know 100% for sure the Ultra, S26 Ultra has that. But you have to use the Samsung dialer. Like you got to use the Samsung. Yeah, it's built in. You'll see it. It'll when you set up your device, it'll run you through all of the AI stuff and what it can do. It's there. Pixel 11 is going to break your battery 20% after 200 charging cycles. So if you plan on using the phone for more than a year or two, that would be a problem. Yeah. You know, I did some searching this afternoon to see if I could find them make any type of statement in regards to this battery optimization thing, the 200 charging cycle thing. And somebody left a comment. Maybe you're watching today. I have no idea. Somebody left a comment on one of my videos yesterday because I mentioned this yesterday, and he basically called me a liar. I'm full of shit. No, it's a real thing. Trust me. I don't want to waste y'all's time. I've done tons of videos on this. It's a real thing. I wanted to, the last thing we heard Google make it, they've only made one statement on this. They put out, there's actually a press release on, what is it, Google blog or whatever. On the 9A, this is what they said. On the 9A and all future devices or phones, I think is what they said. So everything on the 9, starting with the 9A and moving forward, Pixel 10 series, Pixel 10A, Pixel 11, Pixel 11A series. So I haven't heard them say anything else, meaning like I haven't heard them retract that. I haven't heard them say, oh, we're changing this. Now I'll have to wait till we get the Pixel 11 in here. And that'll be one of the first things I check is there any new battery optimization things? Are they going to give us the option to turn it off, right? I don't know. I had a little sliver of hope when they tweaked these charging speeds. I was like, whoa, that's not like Google. Their Pixels have been typically one of these slower charging devices. So when I heard, now obviously that press release that I showed you all last week saying you're going to charge 55% in 5 minutes, obviously that wasn't true. It's charged up to 55% in 30 minutes, but that's still fast for Google. So I was hoping maybe they kind of tweaked some of their charging cycle numbers, but they're so tight-lipped on that. It's embarrassing, right? Like a lot of people don't know that, and it is a turn-off. My Pixel 10 Pro is sitting in the cabinet right there because of it. So we'll have to wait and see. Stay tuned. I'll make sure to see if the Pixel 11 series has this. I'm sure it does, but we'll have to wait and see. Weird fallacy. Tensor does AI better. Wrong. Snapdragon, Dimensity, and M series all have NPU and they have 240% faster GPU compute. Tensor are literally the worst at AI chips. If there's some apps that I can test this on, please let me know and I'll do videos and we can compare the two. I'm sure I could find it. It takes a few minutes of searching, but maybe I'll have a favorite one that I could use. But we'll get to the bottom of that. That's what I liked about the Pixel. That's what I've always liked about Pixel. It's a point and shoot camera. Like with the Samsung, with the S26 Ultra, you really got to tweak stuff here, tweak stuff there to get a really, really good looking shot. I mean, yeah, you can point and shoot, whatever. You know, who has time to be tweaking with with the settings, right? Your kid's running around on the playground. You're like, oh, hold on a second. Give me 15 seconds. Let me tweak the this and that. No, you just want to hold your phone up, boom, take a picture. Pixel's always been that way. And that is one of the advantages it has over the Samsung. It just takes better photos. Now we'll have to see where the video is at. They've said that the video has gotten better, and I hope it has because it hasn't been the best in the past. So So if they could really improve the video, I would really like that. It would sure help me out a lot. It would help everybody out. Now let's see here. We're gonna do a giveaway here shortly, but let me show you what One UI 9.5 looks like. New design tweaks. So this will be launched on the upcoming S27 series. One UI 9.5. And I got this on Sammy Fans. If y'all aren't familiar with Sammy Fans, they have a ton of good Samsung only information, news, a lot of good online publications here, publication right here. So is that looking like an iPhone to y'all? Because when I saw this headline, I was like, please tell me they're not going to copy Liquid Ass. Please tell me they're not going to copy Liquid Ass. It's like Liquid Ass, but without the transparency. Right? You got the bubbles. I mean, not necessarily. It doesn't look too much like Apple, although it kind of does. Let's see, we got that. Is that it? Really gonna give us one screenshot? Well, I guess that was a teaser. Sorry, but it is what it is. Let's see. Now, Oppo is launching real quick. I want to get through this. I want to let y'all know that Oppo is launching. I came across this. I was like, huh, this is a perfect example of why we need a bigger phone selection. I may just be preaching to dead air because these politicians, these lawmakers, these bigger phone companies, manufacturers, wink, wink, Apple, they don't want a big phone selection. They want you to buy their phone and that's it. Well, here's a good example of why we need a bigger selection here in the US. Oppo is launching the Reno 16. Now they have the 16 and the 16 Pro. This has fantastic specs with a not so bad price tag. Now I know it says $715 to $900, but that's for their like best model. Tops out at $715 to $900. You can get a Oppo Reno 16 for like $400 or $500. Yeah. And this one is a little on the smaller side, 6.32 inch. How this tech stuff is going over here. I mean, why can't we get access to this? I mean, I can go buy it on eBay. I get it. I just might. Shit. Getting tired of our phone selection here, man. I think it's time for me to break out of the US with this phone stuff. But just keep an eye on that. Oppo Reno 16 and Oppo. Oh boy. So there is Samsung phones are exploding now. Now, don't be concerned. Look, I think this is the fourth one. I'm not sure if you're aware of this. I'm probably sure you have not seen this because, and look, Samsung's not the only one that does this. They'll bury news topics, stories, articles that they don't really want out. Now, obviously, they don't have control over all media because somebody like me is talking. They can't control me or Sammy Fans. But I guarantee you CNN's not going to report this. I guarantee you CNET is not going to report this. Look, this has been out for a day or two. Android Headlines hasn't said anything. Android Authority hasn't said anything. 9to5 Google hasn't said anything. And I'm not saying they're controlled, but influence is more of a better term to use. That's why I like Sammy Fans. They put out stuff I want to know, right? Well, a Samsung phone just exploded. Now, this is the fourth phone that has exploded. I'm like, oh my God. I don't think it's time to worry or freak out or anything because 4 phones out of, what is this, an S26? How many S26s have they sold? I don't know, probably 5, 6, 7 million. So 4 phones out of 7 million phones. That's like, you probably have a better chance of getting hit by lightning. Seriously. So until this becomes a regular thing, which I hope it doesn't, obviously, and I don't think it will. Look, in every model that these companies launch, it's not uncommon for one or two to blow up. I know that might sound weird, but OnePlus had a couple that blew up. There's a number of phone companies that, remember, they're selling millions of these. So one, maybe, look, I wish none of them blew up, but that's just not reality. And look, I'm sure Samsung will, they got injured. What does it say? Samsung phone explosion leaves man with serious burn injuries. Let's see here. Smartphone exploded inside a young man's trout. Uh-oh, hope he didn't have it in his front pocket. I'd rather have it in the back. That's why I keep my phones in the back pocket. Just in case. I'll still got my man stuff if it explodes. Young man's trouser pocket in Greater... Where the hell is that? Noida? Uttar Pradesh? Is that in Pakistan or India? The man identified as Majid suffered serious burns in the incident. His clothes caught fire after the phone exploded. Damn. According to the information, Majid was returning to his village, Dankar, after visiting Ghaziabad when he noticed the phone becoming unusually hot. He said the device then started producing smoke. Before he could remove it from his pocket, it exploded. The explosion caused severe burns to both of his hands and the lower part of his body. People nearby rushed to help him and took him to a nearby hospital. He's currently receiving medical treatment for his injuries. God dang. It says he had purchased the Samsung phone around a month before the incident. He reportedly bought it from a DG Com at Grand Venice Mall in Greater Noida. According to him, the phone had been working normally before the incident, before the accident. The exact reason for the explosion is not yet known. A smartphone battery can become dangerous because of damage, a technical fault, or extreme heat. However, the actual cause will need to be confirmed through a proper technical examination. The incident is a warning for smartphone users to take unusual heating seriously. If a phone becomes very hot, starts to smoke, swell, or gives off a strange smell, it should not be used. Users should always follow safety and blah, 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 blah. Holy crap. That's crazy. Now, I'm not giving them a pass. Again, I'm just storing this information in the back of my head. And then as time goes on, if I start seeing stories like that, I'll be like, damn, wasn't there that... Oh, yeah, I did talk about that one phone that exploded. I mean, again, your chances of this happening to you are essentially slim to none. Honestly, you might have a better chance of winning a lottery, a smaller lot. But you get the point, right? 4 out of 7 million phones. It sucks. I'm sure Samsung, they're going to investigate this. They're going to look into it. Samsung will take the phone, do an internal investigation. And if it proves that, yeah, it obviously was the phone, I'm sure they'll compensate him. They'll take care of his medical bills. I'm sure they'll take care of him, right? Typically, the few that I've seen in the past as well, they'll do the right thing. The last thing they want to do is cause bodily harm and or injury and then just leave them high and dry. So Samsung has taken care of a couple of people in the past, stories that I've come across. I hope he gets better and feels better. But yeah, damn, that sucks. But I don't think you should stay away from Samsung phones. But it's just something to think about. Let's see, One UI 9.5. Okay, didn't we already just go through that? So we're getting close. Look, time's rolling on. S27 series is coming out. We got that new CPU that's about to come out. Snapdragon. Did y'all are aware that that's sorry, brain fart. Samsung is not going to be putting the variable aperture sensor that's going to be in the iPhone 18 Pro Max. We all thought that same sensor, the main sensor, was going to be in that S27 Ultra. Samsung chose to not put that in the S27 Ultra. However, they're not just sticking that 6-year-old 200 megapixel sensor back in the S27 Ultra, the same one that's in the S26, S25, S24. It's an all new 200 megapixel sensor, main shooter. It's just not the variable aperture shooter. So kind of a bummer, but still, it's not that bad. We're still getting hardware camera upgrades in the S27 Ultra. So at least we have that to look forward to. Now let's do a giveaway. Look, I want to put this out there. It's getting a little late, and I was late to start this, but if any of you, before we do this giveaway, if any of you want to come up to the panel, holler at me, talk to me, we can get 2 or 3 people on the show at the same time. If you want to have a discussion, I want to encourage that. I want to start having live streams where we can all talk about this stuff, right? I don't just want to hear myself talk for an hour. I mean, it's easy. I just, time goes by. I can talk about technology literally for hours. But I would like to have a discussion if y'all want to come up. I'm running out of time. It's Friday night. You know, we all got stuff to do. I got money to give away. But why don't y'all want to try tomorrow? I'll do an open panel tomorrow, and it'll be open to all people on YouTube, because I know I tried a couple on my members only and nobody showed up. That's all right. But if I open it up to everybody, I think we can get a 1 or 2 of y'all. And look, you don't have to show your face. You can go behind an avatar, whatever your YouTube avatar is. You can, you don't have to show your face, because I know that's when I first started doing this, I was nervous, right? I think that's normal, but you don't have to show your face. But if you want to say, hey, what should I do? Should I get the Pixel 11 Pro XL, or should I get the S26 Ultra? Kind of like they asked earlier in the show. I'll discuss it with you, and we can help you make the best choice. Or if you want to call me a dope, if you think I'm an idiot, hey, fair game. But I think it would be cool if some of y'all, it'd be entertaining. I know that. If some of y'all want to come up here, and why don't we try that tomorrow? I was going to try and fit it in today, but it's a Friday. So why don't we do that? But let's do our giveaway. So put hashtag gift in the chat, and we'll do the giveaway. Oh, if you're watching this on TikTok and you want to enter the giveaway, giveaway sweepstakes. It's not a sweepstakes. If you want to enter the giveaway, I cannot run it on TikTok. It's on StreamYard. StreamYard's connected down to YouTube, and StreamYard has their own giveaway tool. So if you want to participate in the giveaway, you're going to need to jump on YouTube. If you're watching this on TikTok, search eSim Studios on YouTube. You'll see us live. Click one of the vertical or horizontal live streams that we're conducting at the moment. Go into the chat, the live chat, and put hashtag gift, GIFT, and we will do a giveaway here for everybody. In fact, I think we'll do 2. I'm feeling good today. Let's do 2 giveaways. So if you don't win right now, hang on, we'll do 1 more. I'm gonna give everybody just a second, okay? Because there may be somebody on TikTok that wants to come over. I'm ready to roll. Yeah, I'll do it in about 30 seconds. Oh, there's somebody on here that said that they were coming over. All right, I'll give you a few more seconds. It sucks, StreamYard. I can't connect TikTok to StreamYard, so I gotta. If you're watching this on YouTube, I have an iPhone right next to my webcam that I'm talking to, that's doing TikTok live. Hang on 1 second. All right, y'all good? All right, let's do our first one. Large Cal 73848. Congratulations to you. You're the lucky winner today of our first out of our 2 giveaways. Email me when this is, or you can email me now, I don't care. esimstudios@gmail.com. If you need a visual, esimstudios@gmail.com. It's down below in the description box as well. I'll send you a Cash App or an Amazon e-gift card, whichever one you choose. I'll get with you right after the show here in a second. And also, I forgot to mention the new Samsung Galaxy tablets and the S27 FE are about to get launched. I think they're going to be launched next month in September. But I say that to say the Galaxy Tab S11s and even the S10s are pretty good deals right now. Like Best Buy, Amazon, I think who else has them for sale? Samsung. You can find a good Samsung tablet right now at a pretty good price. In fact, I'm going to get my daughter one for school starting here. When does she start? I don't know. But you can find some good deals. Or if you want to hold on and wait for a new tab, S12 Ultra. They'll be coming out here pretty soon, next month. So let's do one more. And if you don't win, stick around. We do this every week. Every week we do giveaways. So if you don't win, subscribe to the eSIM Studios YouTube channel. All right, Daniel, a long-time subscriber here. We get him paid off. I like to share my YouTube revenue. I don't think any other YouTube channel does that. I like to give back to the viewer. So I do drawing contests every week. So it pays to subscribe to the channel. Congratulations, Daniel. I have your contact info. I'll get with you here shortly in just a minute or two. But I want to really thank you for your time. I really appreciate it. Again, if you have not subscribed, make sure you do. We got a Pixel 10 Pro coming, and we're going to be doing a bunch of testing on that. And I'm going to look for a good AI benchmarking test. That's my objective this weekend, is to maybe you can help me in regards to referring me to a good AI benchmarking test. And if you want to join me tomorrow, we'll do open panel, and would love to have you all and talk some technology to all of you. So I really appreciate your time. Hope everybody had a fantastic Friday. Please be safe. Have a great evening.
Yeah.
I just need my space right now.
Fresh off the G5 jet, I'm on my way to a brand new